Representative Patton votes yes. Representative Pettingill.
No.
Representative Treganza.
No.
Representative Umberger.
No.
No. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4,
6 to 3.
6 to 3. So the motion
Yep.
the
It's
motion
3 to 6,
dies.
I should say.
3 to 6. It dies. So do we want to go anyplace else?
Can I ask a
Yes,
question?
Representative Algren.
Thank you. Commissioner Sorensen, unfortunately you weren't in the room when I was kind of speaking of this, and I know you were taking care of important business, and I appreciate the fact that you were able to come back. But it's my recollection that it was told us, by Mr. Remick, that there was an addition, like the nursing home's 46 years old, but there was a fairly large addition put on, which I believe is where the cafeteria currently is?
That's correct.
Okay. And do you know how big that area is? How many square feet the area of that addition is?
The total in the core was
The total in core is 15,000, yeah. It seems to me, by my kind of eyeballing, it seems to be around half, around 7,000 square feet?
It's about a third, according to the
Yeah.
diagram.
Oh, you have a diagram?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's only about 5,000 square feet?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so that, because one of the major costs is, the foundation and making it, the free zone there.
Am I mistaken saying that he said that that was the newest portion and probably didn't have to fix the roof there?
We weren't talking about
It was the front portion that had to be fixed?
I don't know.
He may have.
What is it? What is the point of your
The
question?
point I'm trying to, I was just trying to establish how much room, how big the new addition was, and if there was any chance that that new addition could meet our needs, because the renovation cost of just that addition area is going to be relatively small. It's 5,000 square feet. Sounds like it's big enough cooperative extension, but it's also 5,000 square feet. It's probably big enough for the pellet stove and the laundry, and let cooperative extension stay there. So, the cost of just renovating that part of it, I would think, would be relatively small. And that, because most of the cost is associated with that. So,
I think that we have given the commissioners and the ideas, and we're all kinds of ideas. What do we want? Do we want to tell the commissioners to go back to the drawing board, or do we want to just stop talking about the nursing home? I have to tell you that I'm getting hungry and I'm getting more agitated by the moment. So, yes, Representative Umberger.
I think the commissioners would prudently go back and try to figure out and provide a proposal to us for under $1 million to do what we want to have done.
Right.
And if they can't do it, then they come back and say, we can't do it. And then our decision is, every year it costs us $50,000 to keep the building there. Because that's what they're showing as the mothball cost for the year. So, that's what we're accepting is,
third of it, yeah.
whatever it was.
Representative Flecken and Algren.
Well, that motion I thought was just voted in, which
It was.
to have the commissioners do something for
That
$1 million
include
or
that
less.
the $1 million was outside
But
the
was-
demolition.
was
of the-
outside the demolition.
Try another
So-
motion.
They already
Try
have.
another motion. Get rid of the demolition of the wings.
We already
just
had
did.
that motion.
He did it.
That's the motion that passed.
No.
Yes,
okay.
it passed several weeks
It
ago.
passed on our meeting on the 3rd of October.
You're suggesting taking the demolition off the motion, though, is that?
What we would like to do is have the commissioners come up with something not to exceed $1 million for the core of the building.
Including the demolition of the
Wings. Yeah.
wings.
Uh-huh.
No, I think they have that. They should go do something. And if they choose not to, then they choose not to. But I think we need to tell them to go do it.
We got the message loud and clear.
I think he's ready to go to Switzerland.
We do want to have a caucus after this, I don't know why.
Madam
Yes,
Chairman?
Representative Tringale.
Yeah, I would like to ask the commissioners a question, if I may. May I? Okay. What I'd like to know
Laura, can I have the water, please?
is,
Water.
Yes.
That's the new.
as you walk in, there's the reception area, you turn left, you've got the lobby, you look into the large room, and then the high windows are here, okay? If this wall, if this wall were simply extended all the way down forward, it wouldn't change the look or the appearance as you come in, or you know, for folks who are meeting in this area. I know they have meetings there and so on. It just shortens the room, but the wall would make it really look like it had never changed.
I got you, yeah.
And that space is approximately, I haven't measured it, but just by mind's eye, approximately the same size as this room. This space right here. And I spoke with the gentleman who works over at the nursing home. He was at the last delegation meeting. He was standing over where Representative Umberger is. And I asked him, I said, would that size room, if that's the same size, would that be suitable for the laundry? And he said he thought it probably would. Okay? So, now, I don't know how the building was constructed in terms of the plumbing or anything of that nature. You all would know much more about that. But if that would work, the laundry could fit in here. And then above the laundry, if it was one floor, because that's a two-story area, you could put the storage right on top. Before I vote on any motion on keeping the core, I would like to know if this is possible. And I would think that the delegation would want to know as well, you know. So,
Commissioner Solomon.
I'd like to point out that by changing the configuration of that room, that is the room that's used for gatherings of the full nursing home for large events. That was proposed specifically for that reason. And now, if you would take off any piece of that, you would be damaging the whole concept of what that room was used for. We could not use the room to have a Christmas party. We could not use the room for having Thanksgiving parties. These are the events that bring in the families, that bring in the entire nursing home as to be used for a particular purpose. And to take off any portion of that would be detrimental to that usage.
Okay, Representative Albin and then Commissioner Sorensen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that the purpose of the motion says that that only the core is remaining, but also in your plan only part of the core still may be remaining. You don't have to keep the whole core. You can lop off some of it. Once you start reducing the size and scope of what we're saving, then the cost is going to start coming down. Like I mind's eyed, the size of the holes. If you take the two holes on each side and you measure that and then look at, well, how much is that in compared to just taking those two sides and lopping it off and making a freeze line, so instead of 15,000 square feet, you do a 10,000 square foot building and make this one whole wall as opposed to fixing these two holes. The cost of that foundation may be very close. And then once you reduce this, a 10,000 square foot building, instead of it being $452,000 to put on a new roof, is going to be 1/3 less that number. the numbers start getting reduced approximately by 1/3. So that would be another option that you could consider, to reduce the amount of core that you are going to keep. Instead of keeping the entire core and fixing 2 holes, reduce the amount of core to a certain square footage and put up a whole new wall. You know, but so the end result is that when we're done, we have everything removed, and it costs us $1 million. You know, we might let you go over 50 or 60 bucks. Still say okay, you know, in the end. But you know, but also to you know, fine Representative Mr. Chigenza, is they can come up with any plan that they want to. That might be part of their plan. It may or may not be, but that's what you can do. You know, they could do that or not, if they see fit or not. You know, we're not limited. We're not trying to limit their scope into you must keep the core of the building. If they say tear the whole thing down and we'll put up a portable thing and forget that and that's all we can do, then that's their plan. And maybe it only costs $400,000 to do that. That might be their best plan. But you know, we're asking them to come up with the best plan for our approval, and the cost should not exceed $1 million. I think that's what we're trying to ask them to do.
Anybody else? Commissioner?
Madam Chairman, I think when you start cutting up the core, slicing off a piece of it, that's going to be a cost in itself to tear down that piece you're going to take off. Plus, you got to put up another wall. Now, we know that it was $50,000 to $75,000 just to block up a wall when you take a wing off. I don't know what it's going to cost to go all the way across the width of that building. Okay, I think we're talking about figures that nobody understands right now. I surely don't. As far as the nursing home, I don't think that's enough space. We can look into it. I accept your opinion. I don't think it's enough space for laundry, for maintenance, for the pellet boilers. I don't know what your plans are to do with those other 2 areas. Never mind cooperative extension. Okay, but I think we're talking about figures that I don't think we have enough information to.
No, we don't.
Make
Represent
any
this.
decisions on.
And can I, your name, please?
Joan Sullivan.
Joan Sullivan. Mm-hmm.
I just, and perhaps you've already discussed this, and I haven't been privy to what the result has been, but I wondered why, as a public entity, which you represent, you haven't gotten more than one estimate on these costs. Have you made a contract with this particular company to be the only one to do the estimate for these?
This is not this is an estimate, but Bonnet, Page and Stone was already working for us. They knew they knew the old nursing home.
Okay.
If we had decided to accept the fact that we could go for 1.6, we would have put an RFP out for everybody. So it wasn't just automatic that Bonnet, Page and Stone would do the work.
All right.
This is just an estimate to give us a basis of discussion.
So it is open for other estimates?
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's nothing is in stone.
All right.
We can't even decide. Representative Umberger.
Yeah. I guess that the discussion I'm hearing are things that the commissioners should be looking at, and that we don't need to tell them, as you stated earlier, how to do their business. We've given them the guidance, we've asked them to go and do something, and they should be prepared to get back to us by a date that we set, because if it's not done by the 31st of March, the building's going to sit there for another year.
Okay.
And so, I mean, to me, we're rehashing things that,
Yes.
if you want to talk about it, give them a call and let them know where you stand.
But I think that what happens is we gave them a set of parameters,
That's right.
and we didn't get anywhere. Well, so we're saying no to the set of parameters we gave you before. Representative McCarthy, I think you're getting to the fact it's not to exceed $1 million. Go ahead, Representative McCarthy.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to make a motion that we suggest to the commissioners that in accordance with the previous motion that was voted on 6-4 in favor, that they put out bids to have the core reconstructed as to our requirements, and the what do you call it? The smaller buildings, Ls or whatever they are.
Wings.
The what?
Wings.
The wings. The wings demolished at a cost as much as possible under $1 million. And they
Is there-
put it out for open bid.
Is that seconded?